Okay, so next I'm gonna show you how you create the arrow from Lufia. So that basically means that if you shoot an arrow in the direction you are facing, so if you walk to the left and you are staying to the left side, the arrow is flying to the left, and if you look to the right, the arrow is flying to the right, and if it hits the enemy will start walking for a few seconds or a few moments, and then it will continue to do the opposite of your movement. So what do we need to do? So first we need to create a bullet, and we call it bullet or arrow. This is what your object will be, what you are shooting around to freeze your enemies. So we need a switch. So this only should be turned on if this switch is turned on, and we choose a new switch, and I called it bullet on. So now we choose an image for our bullet or our arrow or whatever you like. I take this because I took like a few seconds to draw this lovely bullet. And we set it to a parallel process. So, oops, parallel process. And also we need to make its movement to go one step forward and repeat the movement. So what we gonna do is basically we always change the direction of the bullet accordingly to our player, in which direction he's facing, and the bullet will change direction according to this, and it will just go forward. So when we look to the left, it changes the direction to the left and is moving forward. So it's going to the left side and to the other sides also. So now we're gonna make it a bit faster, so it flies way faster than our hero or our enemy. And yeah, we need to set it to through, so it goes through our enemy and don't just stops in front of our enemy and doesn't hit it. I don't need a walking animation at the moment because this image is always the same, the three walking images. And of course this bullet needs to disappear after a certain amount of time, because it just looks ugly if it gets stuck on a wall and just stays there forever. So we wait 60 frames, I think it's pretty good, and turn itself off again. So we choose our bullet on, the same that we choose here, and set it to off. Great. Now we have our bullet. Next we need coordinates for our bullet and our hero. So the bullet can spawn on the hero, on the hero's position, and also we can check where the bullet lands, if it hits an enemy or not. So we can basically, because we need another 4 variables, we can copy all those 4 and change it up a bit. So edit, and we set the hero X position, hero X variable to the hero, or in this case player, X position on the map. Next we also need to do this for the Y position of our hero. So player map Y. And of course we also need our bullet position to be detected or to be stored somewhere. So we change the bullet X position to the map X of the bullet and also for the Y position of the bullet. Great. Now that we got this, we can go over and try to make something happen if we press return or space, and in this case it should be the shot. So we call this shot or shoot controller. Again, you can call it whatever you like, but make sure to take something that you, so if you look at it you know what it is doing. We set it to true. We don't need this. It depends. If you put this event outside of your walkable area for your player, you don't need to set it to true, but if you put it like here, you need to set it to true so the player can walk through it. Yeah. And we set it to a parallel process. And now we check if return or space is pressed, and we simply do this by using the conditional branch, using the button function, and hit OK. So if OK is pressed down, we want to turn our bullet on. So we use the switch we used before, bullet on, which is setting our bullet to on. And afterwards we need to check where our player is facing. So if he is facing down, we want to set the bullet's location onto the player's location and set its direction also to the player's direction. So basically this means if our player is facing down, we need an else branch to check all directions. So if our player is facing down, we just set event location. That means that we take our bullet and set it to a place on the map, and this place are the coordinates of the hero. So hero X and hero Y that we created, and since the player is facing down, the bullet also should be facing down because the bullet is always moving forward. So we need to change the direction. So this is looking down now and gets set to on, so it turns to the direction down and moves forward in this direction. So direction down, and here we can simply copy and paste it and change it to accordingly to the other direction. So if player is facing left, the bullet should be also look to the left direction. Again, copy paste. If player is facing right, our bullet should be facing right. And the last branch we again copy paste, but here we don't need an else branch because we covered all directions. Now we need to check if the player is facing up. The bullet should be also facing up. Great. Now that we got this, it looks all pretty good. Now we need a new event page to check if the bullet is hitting the enemy. So, and of course, to not always make the bullet reappear again on your hero and changing its directions and everything. So we use the switch, we turn bullet on, and if bullet is turned on, we check on this page with a parallel process if, as we did before with a button, if a bullet X position is the same as the enemy X position, we don't need an else branch, and again if the enemy Y position is the same as the, or we did it, I think we did it the other way around. Okay, so we check if the bullet X bullet Y position is the same as the enemy Y position, and this means that the bullet is on the exact same spot as the bat in this case, or the enemy. And in this case we should set a new switch to on, which I called enemy hit. So if the enemy is hit, enemy hit get set to true, and that's basically is it for the shoot controller. And now we need to go back to our enemy movement and create a new page. This should be a parallel process, as so often. It should only be triggered if enemy hit is true or on. Yeah, and all it does is this. What happens here is that when the enemy is hit, you can set the amount of time that it should freeze. So we say about 250 frames. So it waits 250 frames, and then we turn itself off again. So we turn enemy hit to off, and it goes back to this state where it checks what button, what direction the enemy has, and of course the movement of the enemy. So this is basically it for this. So the last thing we need to do is simply check or make a third page. I forget to delete. Yes. I forgot to delete it, so we can do it again. The last thing you need to do is to create a new page, and this is what should happen to the enemy if the enemy got hit. So if the enemy got hit, we need the enemy monster sprite. I like to set it to stepping because it looks better in my opinion. And yeah, that's the movement should be set to fixed, so nothing happens. Yeah, and that should be basically it. I hope that I didn't make any mistakes. So let's see if everything works fine. We start a new game, and okay, the bat is moving, we can shoot, and if we hit it, it won't move until 250 frames have passed away. So we can now do our little quest here, or our little, I don't know. So you can see the door is closed, and now it becomes a bit tough to maneuver it over the button and freeze it. So okay, So it's on the button. I shoot at it. Okay, I don't know. I simply wait for a few frames. You see, it stops. If it stops stepping, the time is over where it's frozen. So I shoot at it, it's frozen, and I can go to the store and, yeah, do whatever I like. So I should, so this is set to player touch, so nothing happens, but we could set a transfer player, so we can teleport him to the same map or teleport him wherever you want. So basically I just want to show you that this is working. So again, I'm gonna start this. And he's on the button. I shoot him. Fast, run up. And I got teleported. You see? And now the door is closed again. So this is it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching.